What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Stellar Lumens today, XLM. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. This one's coming to us at the request of Succulent Snake, the Slitherous Snake himself. Shout out to Adam Wagner. Go Birds. Let's see here. Here we are at about 27.2 cents now. My bad, guys. How long has it been since I've talked about XLM? It's been too long. Is the answer 16th? Yeah, this is unacceptable. Unacceptable. I'm sorry. There's been some other coins that have been pumping, but that's no excuse, man. We should keep up on this thing regularly, right? We've got this massive, absolutely massive bull flag. You've well respected it. Very well maintained channel. I hope this in itself, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if you're ever, it's not this simple. It's not always this simple, but think about it like this, right? If this were a pump and dump, if you were to go to zero, well, you didn't dump, right? Oftentimes with projects that have or assets, crypto, stocks, whatever they might be, if they pump and the pump is not real and it's inevitably going to fizzle out and go to zero, you don't get this very well maintained structure to the downside. This consolidation is tight and with a purpose, and is the purpose is likely to send you higher, right? That's the porpoise. The porpoise is going to send you higher from a relative low to relative high. This is your flagpole, right? You take this measurement, you put it at the base of the flag here. It just keeps going down, but the measure move, the minimum target. I remember, man, back here where the minimum target was all the way up above $2. The minimum target now is at $1.45. Okay, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. $2.45, $1.45. I'm sure anybody holding Stellar Lumens right now would be happy to see the price above 80 cents, let alone above $1.45. So that's the measure move. Now the measure move is just an idea. It's not a requirement. It's not a prophecy. It's not something that has to happen. You can reach for it and miss. You can reach for it and exceed it. You know what I mean? It's just an idea. Maybe what you do is you break out, you reach for it, you hit that target area, and then you form another bull flag, and you break out from there. Who knows how it's going to look. But I'm just saying this is the idea: is that you would stop right there at about $1.45. Okay, that's the target area. We look at this on a weekly basis. And there's higher targets. We're gonna go over that. Okay, I very much believe Stellar is on its way to prices above $2 by the end of June. That hasn't changed, but the minimum targets have changed. Okay, let's just be real. But hold on. Weekly RSI bouncing off the 40. This is a good thing. I had somebody was in the comments here. Let me see who was it. Where were you? Let me go through. Steve Wayne Jones. He's quoting me. I don't know if anybody understands what I'm saying here. That's probably the most accurate thing I've ever heard on these videos. Slow it down, spell it out, talk to the common guy, because okay, I get it. I get it. I understand. I know what I'm talking about. Not everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's kind of like a foreign language though, right? Like if you don't know any Spanish, but you're stuck in a situation where you got to watch Spanish soap operas, right? If you're just watching Spanish TV, if you're submerged in Spanish music, you're going to pick up some Spanish, right? So I might be speaking my own language here, or not my own language. It's technical analysis. But if you stick around, you watch the videos enough, you'll start to figure things out. Things will become familiar. If it just sounds like it's impossible to figure out, it's probably because it's your first week finding me. And thank you for finding your way here. But I will try to speak plainly. I will try to make sense out of it, okay? But I also try to speak as fast, not as fast as I can, but without wasting too much time going over the semantics and stuff that's rather trivial for most people, okay? When it comes to the RSI, bouncing off the 40 is a very significant thing. The weekly time frame, the higher up the time frame, the more significant. So being on the weekly time frame on your relative strength index, that's what the RSI is. Bouncing off the 40, you're avoiding bearish areas of control. You're getting overbought, you're not getting oversold. This is a good thing. Overbought and oversold, this implies volatility, right? Or potentially worse things than that. But what we're doing here is a good thing. This is a very good thing. Even in your weakest moments, you can't actually show true signs of weakness being in the oversold zone. This is a good thing. Bouncing off the 40 is very powerful, okay? So this is a good area to be from. I very much do believe that was your low, and I believe that you're moments away, days away, weeks away from breaking out of this and going higher, right? Being that this is a bull flag, this is a pattern, right? The way that these patterns are measured is you take the flagpole, you put it at the base of the flag. That's how we got that measure move, right? It's not a perfect science. It's statistically backed, right? That's literally how it works. You just see a kind of replicated move of what brought you into this consolidation phase here. We look at the 3-day time frame, 3-day RSI, getting below the 40, but not really, right? Like your time below the 40 is very short lived. You get down there, you come back up. You get down there, you come back up. So here we are above the 50, getting higher highs in the RSI. You do have lower highs still. This is a form of hidden bearish divergence. This is not good, right? When you get higher highs in the RSI and you get lower highs in the price, that's not a good thing. But fortunate enough for us, these are on the 3-day time frames. Over the next 3 days, if you continue to move up and you close above here, that hidden bearish divergence goes away, and it actually becomes bullish convergence. So if anything, what we want to see is over the next 3 days, because this 3-day period comes to an end in the next 9 hours. Over the next 3 days, we want to see prices get above 30 cents. Okay, does that make sense? And I think we will. I really do think that we will. The weekly time frame looks good. The 3-day time frame still looks good, even with that potential. It's a setup for hidden bearish divergence, but I don't think you stop here, right? I mean, oftentimes you look at this RSI. Where do you stop? You stop here or higher, right? So you got, with that kind of growth, you're going to close above here. Absolutely, you will. We're looking for a close above 30 cents. In other words, okay, over the coming days, by the end of this month, certainly. Looking at the daily time frame. Hold on. Looking at the daily time frame here, we are reaching. Oh my goodness, I have to cough again. Okay, hold on. Huh. Oh man. We're okay. We're reaching for the overbought zone. Okay. You can see it here. We've got the strongest readings on the RSI on the daily time frame that we've seen since December. Right now. Right? In December, we were at these highs. In November, we were pumping, right? But these are some of the highest readings we've seen. Last time that we got overbought was over here, right? This is the first taste of being overbought in a while. Look at what the move produced. We're about to get that here. We're on our way. Zooming in, zooming down some more. The 4-hour time frame looks super bullish, you guys. Higher lows, higher highs, we love it. We love it. Higher lows, higher highs, we love it. I don't draw the best lines, but you see what I'm going for here, right? That was actually a really good line for me. If you've been watching my channel, you know that's not something I do too often. Very, very straight lines there. Good lines. Nice parallel channel going upwards. On a 4-hour basis, you've just gotten overbought. This is a good thing, right? The last time that you got overbought, let's just look at how you performed here, right? You got overbought here. This was in the midst of this move up. Overbought here. This is in the midst of this move up. What are we doing now? You're getting volume coming in, getting overbought. My assumption is this is just the beginning of this move. I think Stellar Lumens is really about to rip, you guys. I think that it is. The main reason why I think that is, first off, you're about to be overbought in your daily. You get your strongest readings whenever you are overbought. It's a good thing to be overbought. And then secondly, you are breaking out of your downtrend. You clearly are. Let me see if I can get this a little bit better here. You're clearly breaking out of your downtrend. I don't know if that's the line of best fit, right? Comes in line with a lot of points of resistance here, little blemishes here and there. Maybe it's something like this. That's the line of best fit. However you want to draw it, we are certainly we're above this trend line here. We're above this trend line here. However you want to draw it, maybe it's more like this. But then see, it's not a line of best fit. We're just interacting with the blemish because it's a blemish. I don't think that that's fair. I think this is more appropriate. Maybe we are just below the line. Whatever it is, whether we're just below it, we're just above it, we're at the point now where we're really going to get some separation from this zone. And I think that this long-awaited bull flag, we're going to break out. So what I'm anticipating by the end of the month of April, over the coming days, off of everything that we've seen so far, is a rather robust move. Something that we haven't seen in months, to the upside at least, right? You're at 28 cents now, 27.5 cents now. I'm expecting, yes, that this move will take you probably over the coming days. By the end of this month, certainly, but over the coming days, by the end of this week, you're going to be at prices that are above 32 cents. So good. You're going to get rid of that hidden bearish divergence on your is it 3-day time frame? Yes, you're going to get rid of that. But by the end of the week, 3 days, 9 hours from now, I expect that you will close above 31 cents. It's very common with the 382, this fib level here. It's very, very common, absurdly common, to not find resistance right at it, but to go just above it, right? You move just above it, maybe you wick just above it, and then you close below it. That can happen. Closing above it is a bullish signal in itself. That tends to signal that you go to the golden ratio and beyond, right? Ultimately, what I'm getting at here is you're about to pump. You're pumping right now. You're in the midst of your next move up. As long as it took you to move down here, it's not going to take you to move up. You're going to move up at such a faster rate. And now let's get into the idea of where you're going to go for the end of this next move. What do I mean by next move? Well, here was a move up. You consolidated, right? Here, this was a move, and then you consolidated, right, for a very long time. This was your move down. This was your move up, right? For your next move up, where are we going to go, right? How high are we going to go? Well, the measure move here from a low to a high takes you all the way up to $1.45, right? $1.40 something, whatever. Right there. Now it's pretty damn close, especially with the idea that bull flag measurements do not have to be perfect. You can stop just below them. If you were to stop just below, it's pretty damn close to $1.31, which is where your golden ratio is. Now, golden ratios are respectable. They are very respectable zones. You could find resistance there. This, I think, is a good minimum target to have. Yes, it's below your measure move. No, it's not as enticing as prices above $2, but I don't think we stop here. But at a minimum, Stellar Lumens, I think that you stop at about a 4.7x from here at about $1.30. You're not even at 30 cents now. You got a whole dollar to go. This is where I expect you'll go over the coming months at a minimum. Okay? The reason why I don't really think that you'll stop here, I accept that you could. We just went over the reasons why I accept that there's logic to believe that you could stop here. But the reason why I don't think that you will stop here is because you've got bigger things going on here, okay? You've been in a consolidation phase for 2 cycles now, since 2017, 2018, right? You've been consolidating on a large scale. If we take the high to the low of this overall scale, that measure move, that 1618 here on this very small scale in comparison to this large scale, it's not even at the minimum target area here of 246. Now call me crazy. I'm just connecting some dots. Maybe they deserve to be connected, maybe they don't. But if you've consolidated for multiple cycles, would it make sense that on the breakout endeavor that you stop anywhere below your minimum target? That doesn't make sense to me. You spent 2 cycles consolidating and you're going to stop here as soon as you break free and see new all-time highs? That doesn't make sense to me, man. I don't think so. I accept it as a possibility. We have reasons. We came up with viable options and rationale as to why we could stop there at about $1.40, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. 246 would be the minimum target. We take last cycle's high to low, market cycle high to low here. Get the high on there actually. And then that 1414 is just below the 1272 as well. With the 1414, it's very common to go just above it. That 1272 is just above it, adding to the notion that we really could stop at 246. And I like that. I think that we will go to that area personally. Okay, we take this relative high to low, the smaller one. With smaller fibs, it is common to go to deeper extensions. And up here at the 1272, we have $1.75 or $1.78, I'm sorry, $2.04, even $2.80, something like that. Again, Stellar Lumens doesn't have to stop at 246. It could go higher than that. But what I want to do now, beyond just talking about all these prices that could or could not happen, I want to apply some math here. I want to go, let's actually use we'll put it over here. Oops. XLM USD, no, XLM BTC, that's what we want. XLM BTC on Binance, yeah? We're going to do some math. We're going to see where a viable target would be for XLM to BTC would be. This chart is priced in Bitcoins, right? This chart is priced in US dollars. That's the price in US dollars is worth 27.8 cents. XLM to BTC is worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, 3 Bitcoins. One XLM is worth 0.503 Bitcoins, right? That's what it's worth. You're in a bull flag of your own. I would call that a bull flag. It looks like a bull flag. If it performs like one from a low to a high, that would mean that Stellar Lumens moves all the way up here. Would that make sense? Would that make sense? I don't know. Let's see. You're at areas of resistance here. Areas of resistance you've been at since 2021, 2022, right? You've been finding resistance here. When you break out, where are you going to go to? Where's the next areas of resistance? Well, right here looks to be some resistance, some support there. Some resistance here. Hey, I like that. That makes sense. Could we go a little bit higher? Sure. That area there, the measure move of the bull flag, there's areas of resistance there as well. Areas of turbulence here. Hold on. You know, it wouldn't be crazy at all to see these prices, but instead of seeing the measure move, let's just stick with an area that might make sense. Prior resistance, support, resistance, resistance, resistance on a monthly closing basis. Let's stick with that. From a high to a low, what does that give us? High to low right there. That's really close to our golden ratio. Let's stick with that. I like that white line. Let's do that. So Stellar Lumens is at 503 right now to a Bitcoin with a potential target outcome by the end of June over the coming months to see 401 of a Bitcoin. What price would that give it? What price would we see Stellar have if it's at 401 of a Bitcoin? And Bitcoin itself, I'm assuming, right, and I'm not going to do the analysis here, but I've got enough reason to believe that Bitcoin will be by the end of June, or if not very early July, at $170,000 to $180,000. That's the expectation. Let's say I'm wrong, or let's say Stellar tops off beforehand, or maybe afterwards when Bitcoin's not at 170, 180K, maybe it's at 140K. Can we all get on board with that, right? Can Bitcoin see $140,000 if we're moving up, if we're breaking out, if we are moving up to higher targets and new all-time highs, 140K by the end of June? I don't think that's asking for much. You know, I think that's very reasonable. It's not reasonable. You say, okay, let's talk about 100K then. Let's just say if Bitcoin's at 100K. 1, 2, 3. What would that price be? because I think we've come up with the reason why it makes sense to go here by the end of June. This is reasonable, right? Let's give this unreasonable price of $100,000 because I don't think Bitcoin by the end of June is only going to be at $100,000. Stellar Lumens would be at $1. Okay, so we're at least confident that we'll break above $1. That's nice. I could have done that math. Well, four zeros one. Now let's say Stellar Lumens or Bitcoin's at $140,000. Wow, so that would be $1.40. $1.40. If Bitcoin is at a dollar, so this is nice, right? If Bitcoin's at $180,000, that puts Stellar Lumens at $1.70, $1.80. That's not quite $2, but let's be fair here. We are limiting ourselves on the potential here, right? If Stellar Lumens does, if this is a bull flag and it does respect that bull flag, if it does go above the golden ratio, in fact, where's the next target area? Well, to be fair, the bull flag measure move does line up very well with the 1886 here. So let's play it to the more bullish effect now. Let's say that we hit this target exactly. That's where we're going to go. It makes a lot of sense, right? The 1886 extension is there. The bull flag measure move takes us there. From a high to a low, it's our golden ratio of this overall retracement. I mean, man, I delete this fib. It actually makes a lot of sense that we would go up here because you found resistance at the 382, found support at the 236. How many times do I say if you go to the 382, you find support at the 236, the next move is the golden ratio? The golden ratio that happens to be right by our measure move, which happens to be right here with the 1886. It makes a lot of sense. We're going to stick with that. Let's go with that. 4 zeros, 1484. 1484. I'm going to make sure it's 4 zeros, yeah? Yeah. Now let's say Bitcoin's only at 100K, which I doubt it is. $1.48. You see what I'm saying, right? Dollar. It's it's happening. 0.0001484. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. I could have done that math. $100,000. Times. Let's say it's at $140,000, right? Which I think is a fair area to be at. I think Bitcoin will be at higher prices by the time Stellar tops off. I still think this price might be conservative, but you never know. That's a $2 price. Okay, working with that. That makes sense. We're making sense out of these $2 targets, which we derived here on the sorry, that was the XCN chart, which we derived here, high to low 246. If we don't stop there, from a high to a low here, we've got the 1414, the 1272. We're making a lot of sense out of these targets here, right? At least these areas. They might not be those specific targets, but they're around that area, so it makes sense. Does that help? Does that make sense? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1484. 1484. Now let's say Stellar tops off around the same time Bitcoin does. Let's put it at 170,000. What would that give us, right? Gives a $2.52 price, $2.52, $2.53. That's very close, shockingly close to our minimum target here of the consolidation phase that we've been in, from the high to the low of this Fibonacci extension right there, right above the 1414 here, right at the what is it, the 2272 of this one, high to low, just right around the 2272 there. There's a lot suggesting that we really could, if and this isn't even being like crazy, this to me is realistic, that we would go here versus Bitcoin, and then if Bitcoin goes to 170K, I think that's where we're going to go. If we're following through with my true expectations, then this lines up perfectly with my true expectations for Stellar Lumens, saying that we will see prices above $2 at 246 or even beyond. Okay, so take it for what you will. All of this nonsense to say, it's not nonsense, but all the chicken scratch to say, I think we have a very viable target minimum at $1.40. We have a very target viable maximum at like $1.50 or $2.50. It's possible we could see larger prices. I'm not calling for that necessarily, but if we were to see larger prices than that, maybe, just maybe Stellar does go all the way up to $4. With the 1414, it's very common to go just above it. We might see something more. The reason why I'm even giving this as a possibility that by the end of June we could be up here is the fact that you've spent multiple cycles consolidating. You've proven yourself. We don't know what we're dealing with here, you guys. This thing could really, really rip, okay? The United States added XRP into their crypto reserve. Maybe some other countries will want to add Stellar Lumens into their crypto reserve, right? There could be some very, very bullish things that go on here that we don't even know. Breaking out of this multi-cycle consolidation phase, seeing new all-time highs, I really do believe that we could see a move that is similar, if not even stronger, than the last move that we saw. I hope it all makes sense. I've got nothing else to say. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. The primary expectation here is that you're moving up, right? You've been moving up this whole time that I've been talking about. You're in the midst of a breakout move now. It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get better from here. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.